This is Arts Alive. I'm Linda Philippi, and today we're here to kick off the 30th annual Art Harvest Studio Tour in Yamhill County. I'm amazed that it's been 30 years. I'm so excited about this celebration. And today with me in the studio is my guest, Adele O'Neal, and she is the committee chair for this whole big enterprise. So welcome, Adele.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you could be here.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for inviting us. Yeah.
And I know that also you're one of the artists on the tour. So we'll talk about that. But first, let's do the tour business and talk about what your role is as committee chair.
Okay. Yeah, as committee chair, I get to help our coordinator, James Nelson, who he does the majority of the work.
With a whip and a chair.
I know. He really does do most of it.
I know. James is amazing.
I know. He's so fantastic. But we help. The committee definitely helps. One thing that I know I do a lot of is I help with editing information that goes in the catalog.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
I
read and read and read and
proof and proof
make
and proof.
changes.
Sure. Yeah.
But we do a lot of talking about, okay, which way do we want to do this? How do we want these exhibits to look like? Where do we want to try to find another place? So the committee is really very active in putting the studio tour together. And it's a fun group.
Well, I
just...
see your committee members. So, you know, you've got Kalia, you've got Leanne, you've got Marilyn, you've got Bonnie, you've got Fun Maggie, all the great people. So,
yeah. Oh, it's a great group. So we have a lot of fun working together on it. It's great.
So, because James was talking about the fact that he doesn't do any of the jurying, selecting the actual artists who will appear on the tour. You want to talk a little bit about that process and the timeline for that?
You bet. We post on our website in January the application and the instructions on how to apply and what you need to submit. Each artist that wants to be a participant needs to fill out the application. They need to send us several different pictures of their work. And then what happens is, as a committee, we get together and we start looking at the pictures and decide, okay, what is this how is this type of art going to fit into, you know, everybody else that's already doing it?
You know, it is a matrix because you've got painting and you've got drawing and you've got mosaics and you've got pottery, ceramics and jewelry and all these different things that people do.
Glassware,
Right, and how do you make the mix nice? And also from, I don't want to say village to village, but you know what I mean, Newburgh, McMinnville, kind of cluster them so that you've got a nice mix in each city, right?
Right, yeah. We don't necessarily look at that.
No, okay. Oh, okay.
Because we're looking for artists who are super excited about being part of the tour.
Just passionate,
Yeah, they're passionate about their art, and they have high quality art. We want to make sure that we maintain how great the studio tour has been for 30 years.
You know, I have to tell you that my house is really stuffed with art. And unless I wanted to do one of those things where, you know, like the entire wall is covered and you can't see what color the paint is, I kind of have to quit. But it's always so amazing to me to go on the tour and to take a look and think, I just want that. I'll find room. I'll trade something out, and I have done that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and that's what I would have to do if I wanted to hang more paintings in my house. I would have to get rid of some things because I have too many. I have too many things, and then I started putting them in my studio. Yeah. And that's not very big, so it's challenging.
Which leads me into Adele O'Neal, because you have the most perfect offering for this tour. What does everybody always need more of, and it takes up so very little room. And we're talking jewelry.
I know, that's right. Some jewelry.
Jewelry.
That's right.
You know, when people, you know, you'll go to like an art show at different places, and the people are schlepping, and then I look at the jewelry people, and they're carrying in those, you know, wire things, and like 2 little tackle boxes filled to the brim, and you think, now that's the way to go.
Right.
It's not so bulky.
Right.
But let's talk about you as an artist and how you got into the beautiful silver and gemstone work that you do.
Sure. Well, it was quite a few years ago at work. One of my coworkers had said, and this was in Salem, but she said, hey, let's get some of the folks in the office together and let's go down to the jewelry store downtown where they teach classes, and let's take an earring class.
Okay.
I said, okay, sounds good to me. Oh, I was hooked. The very first pair of earrings I made, I was hooked. It's all wire wrapping, so there's no heat involved.
Oh,
all
no
you're
soldering
using,
and all that.
Yeah, there's no soldering. All you're doing is hammering and cutting wire and pounding it to make it look interesting.
Okay.
I was hooked, and I started making pieces and giving them to my friends, and finally, after a couple of years, some friends said, you need to start selling your work. So I did.
Yeah, because really you're putting down all the money for everything, and yes, they make lovely gifts, but hey.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I started doing different art shows and having a great time with it, and I got invited to participate in the studio tour. I think this is my 8th year in the studio tour.
Sure.
But it's just been so much fun. I love it, and I love making jewelry.
And how have you watched your style evolve over the years? Like, are you doing things now that you weren't doing like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe?
Well, I still do a lot of the little swirly kind of earrings.
Like those, yeah.
And I happen to like really long, dangly earrings.
I do too, yeah.
So I try to make smaller earrings because not everybody likes really long, dangly earrings. But generally, I have the same style, I think, that I had from the very beginning. I do make a lot simpler things. This is a very, very simple bracelet. This is a more complicated bracelet.
Okay, and newsflash, I've had all of these pieces on before the show, trying to just see if she'd notice if she didn't go home with them. But
that's right.
Show them the one I love, the black pearl.
Yeah. And this one is a brand new piece I made.
I love
this. This is a black pearl, but it's a pearl blister.
Okay, talk about what a pearl blister is.
Well, instead of it just being a round pearl, it forms
freeform.
It's just an interesting shape. This one happens to be in the shape of a heart.
I think that's beautiful.
And so I decided I needed to make a necklace out of it in the shape of a heart.
I think that's really amazing.
I just
because
love
I can't imagine what else, what would be prettier. That's really so beautiful.
Yeah, well, and it's definitely one of a kind piece. So you couldn't make earrings or anything out of it, only a necklace.
I know.
And then I love amethyst, so I brought a piece of, an amethyst crystal that I'm going to make a necklace out of.
We'll just wire wrap part of it and then, okay.
Yeah, it'll probably be wired around it, and then it will be anchored in there. There's no hole in it, so I have to anchor it in there so that you can still see the stone, but there's enough wire.
You know what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at this is, how you always see, like from back in the day, the Native Americans, how they made the thing to carry the baby, with it wrapped and wrapped, and then the baby went boop like this down in the back.
That's right. Yeah. So exactly like that. And then some of my earrings I make with what's called strip silver, and these are you have to cut it because this is the actual size of it. It's about an inch wide, and like this bracelet, I fold the edges over and then I hammer it, but I cut it smaller to make little fun earrings.
Yeah.
And people like hoops, so I make a lot of hoop earrings. And then these are kind of a type of a hoop earring. And like I said, I've got, simple bracelets.
I love this.
The good thing about selling things like this at the studio tour is we're in my studio. And I purposely make things a little bit too big because guess what? If somebody tries it on and it's too big, I can just cut it down. I'm right there with all my tools.
But you can't make them bigger. I mean,
I can't make them bigger. So I always,
I like that. That's
I usually make them a little bit bigger.
This is a really pretty one too. We have to really talk about this one with all the little pearls and the beautiful piece in the middle.
This one is called Cleopatra.
Okay.
And because it looks like Cleopatra's eye.
Yeah, the eye,
maybe.
right?
Yeah. And I just love this piece. I had another one that was a little more ornate, and I think that one sold last year. But this is just so much fun because, again, I don't want to hide the beauty of the stones. And if you haven't figured it out, I love pearls. I absolutely love pearls.
Yes, I do too.
So I put pearls in a lot of things.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's just something fun that I really enjoy making with different kinds of stones. And sometimes I'll make them, I didn't bring anything today. I make them with found objects.
Okay.
Way back, I had a typewriter that had a space key that fell off. And I made a necklace out of it, and somebody bought it. I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh, I'll be able to wear this later.
Yeah.
And somebody bought it. And I also used to do fused glass.
Oh, okay.
And I made plates and bowls and things like that. And then I was making really tiny pieces for jewelry. So every once in a while, you'll see something in my work that is made with a little piece of fused glass that I also made.
Are you still doing fused glass, or maybe not so much? It says
not so much. I do have one of those really small glass kilns, and I just need to have time to make more stuff.
Sure.
But I still have quite a few little pieces.
I love it, that can be incorporated or whatever.
Yes.
So now here's a question for you. I mean, if somebody came to you with, for example, a crystal or a stone that they loved, or even a pearl that they had that was not set, would you be willing to work around that?
Yes, I do a lot of custom work actually for people, and that's what it is about. It's that special rock or stone or shell or even grandma's earring.
Sure.
That maybe they only have one of.
And it's the screw back or something.
That's right. Who wears those?
Yeah.
So yes, I have made necklaces and bracelets out of different things that people bring to me, and I love doing custom work for people because it's so sentimental for them.
Sure.
And it's fun to do work for that.
It's so gratifying.
Yeah, it is.
Let's talk about then, how will people find you on the tour? Where are you?
Well, I'm in Dundee.
Oh, Dundee, okay.
Yeah, I'm in Dundee, so I'm just like right in between Newburgh and McMinnville.
Which, if I don't mind saying, is a great place to stop for lunch.
It is.
There's,
right.
There's some,
yeah, and there's of course all those wineries.
Yes, exactly.
Right around.
No, we don't want them on wineries. We don't want them to get distracted. We want them focused.
That's true.
Focused on art.
That's
true. Okay, it's good to know that that's where they can find you. And I would really like to wish you a lot of success with this tour. And we're going to have to be talking here.
Yeah.
I have my eye on that piece. Thank you, Adele.
Thank you, Linda. It's been great.